Okay, well, welcome to the first session of the Ralip family video cookbook. So, today we are going to make my traditional savoury cheesy egg. Now, to make this, what you need is a slice of bread. You need an egg, one egg, so for one person. You need 3 slices of processed cheese. Cowhead's really good because it's fatty, you want fatty cheese. You actually should have onions and garlic, but run out of onions. So imagine a bit of onion on there. Should be a few onions, a little bit of onion, as well as a couple of cloves of garlic. I always like to have a little bit of other sorts of cheese, the more flavourful cheese as well, so you can crumble that on there. And then for seasoning, you need some salt, that's Himalayan pink salt, which is really nice. Some black pepper, fresh ground black pepper, and some Italian herbs. Okay. Okay, so then you need to chop your cherry tomatoes into half like that, and then slice your garlic into nice slices like that. And if we did have some onions, which we haven't, then you chop your onions into little pieces, not too big, small pieces. Okay, so they're ready for the frying pan. And then the next thing you do is take your slice of bread like this, and you very carefully take out the middle of the slice, like that. All the way around. So you've got a slice of bread with no middle. And then you break the bit you've taken out of the middle into 4 thin pieces, like that. Okay, and then you're ready for the next bit, which is the frying pan. So take your frying pan, turn on the gas, fairly hot. It's best if you use olive oil. Olive oil's best. It's clean and it fries nicely. A good dollop of olive oil. It's quite good for you, so it's okay to use quite a bit of olive oil. Not a problem. And then you heat that olive oil until it's pretty hot. So we'll leave that there, we'll come back when it's hot and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now that the oil is nice and hot, we're going to fry the bread. So take your bread with a hole in the middle, slot it in the middle of the pan, and put these four pieces around the edges. And then let the oil kind of move around and just soak in. That's going to fry the bread. Okay? And while that's frying, if we had onions, we'd sprinkle onions around it. And then the garlic afterwards. We haven't got any onions, so we're just going to put the garlic in. But if you have got onions, definitely put onions in. It makes it a lot better. So some onions and garlic around the edge of the pan like that, whilst the bread is frying. And what you're hoping to do is to get the underside of the bread nice and brown. So leave it for a minute and we'll let that bread go brown. So when that's been in the pan for a couple of minutes, get a bit closer, you can see that if you turn it over, it's nice and brown on the other side. Do that for all the 4 pieces. Bread. Remember, they're going to be really hot now because they've been frying. And then you've got fried bread. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cherry tomatoes, pop them on the side, slip them down, and just push them on like that so that they start to fry all the way around. Okay, and you take your egg and you just pop it in the middle. Start to fry. Okay. Sometimes you can get a little bit of egg to spill over, like that, just to kind of seal it in and make it so the egg fries a bit faster. But be careful you don't do it to the point where it bursts the yolk. Okay, that's good. Okay, then we're going to put on to it a little sprinkling of salt. The salt goes on the egg, maybe a little bit around the tomatoes. So this is white pepper, and the white pepper goes on the egg. A good sprinkling, give it a little bit of taste. This is the black pepper, and the ground black pepper doesn't go on the egg, it goes on the toast and around here where we're going to put the cheese in a minute. So you've got some black pepper on the toast and the cheese. And then you take your sliced cheese. Okay, so this slice of cheese. Take them out of the packet. And break it into strips and lay it around the outside so it melts into all that lovely onions and garlic. Yeah, it should be onions and garlic and tomatoes. All around the outside. You've got 3 slices to go up. So spread it around, lay it on like that so it starts to melt. 1 more slice to go. And the idea is you want it to melt into where the bread is. So if you've got little gaps like that, stick a bit of cheese in it where the gaps are so it melts and goes in amongst the bits of bread. So stick your bits of cheese in like that. And then this more like tasty bread, just crumble it. Just crumble it around. So you've got bits of cheese, chunks of cheese that are going to melt a bit as well. Depends how savoury you want it as to how much of this you put on. This is going to make it very savoury because this is, I'm using vintage cheddar, which is really, really tasty. Just crumble some of that on there like that, and then leave it to fry for a bit. Okay, so as you can see it's frying nicely, and the idea is that you're trying to kind of brown off the cheese underneath the whole thing. And then to give it a little bit of an added interest, just a good sprinkling of Italian herbs to give it that little bit of Italian taste to it, bring it alive. And then continue frying that. The idea is really that you're trying to get the cheese brown, but leave the egg still fluid. You see the egg is still a little bit fluid. Okay, so it's been frying for a while now, about 3 minutes, and it's getting brown underneath. And this is a really important bit. So when you think it's ready for this, when it's actually starting to go a little bit dry around the edges, you're going to try and kind of gather together the edges so you can start to move it so it's like slips on a non-stick pan. So we can then put it onto the plate. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you look at the pan now, you see that it's actually brown around the edges, so it's starting to dry a little bit around the edges, so it's now ready for this. You take your spatula, if you've got a flat, sharp spatula, this is better, then you just go around and just loosen the edges, just like that. Just gather the edges in. When you've got onions on it, sometimes you've got onions around the edges, you're just gathering them in like that and making it a little bit loose at the edge. And then when you've done that, you see, it'll start to move. There you go. When it's moving, you just keep doing it like with a pancake. You know, just give it a little shh every 20 seconds. You can hear it sizzling a lot more now because the oil's gone back underneath, the cheesy oil's underneath, and it's starting to fry the base. So the idea is you're trying to get the base to be crispy and fried, cheese and egg, and then the top to be soft. So I think we're almost there. I think it's ready. A disaster can happen here because if you just try and slap on the plate, it's going to go all over the place. So you've got to be a little bit kind of brave with this, and you've got to say, okay, it's moving, so I can now slip it on like that. Nice and quick and forceful. And that's it, it's done. And it's yummy.